Hello, my name is Matthew Hunter with Legacy Wilderness Academy, and I'm on a mission to document every edible and medicinal plant in the southeastern U.S. so Southerners can have greater access to nutritious food and free medicine. In this video, we're going to be looking at the mimosa tree, a plant that's been used for thousands of years to boost the mood and treat depression, anxiety, grief, insomnia, irritability, and help people have a brighter, more positive outlook on life. We'll look at how to identify the mimosa tree, where it grows, and how to turn it into a medicine. But before we begin, I'll quickly mention that if you want to learn more about medicinal plants of the Southeast, make sure that after this video, you check out the link in the description below where you can get my free guide to medicinal plants. Mimosa is in the bean family, and it also goes by the name silk tree. It's identified by its pink pom-pom shaped flowers, which you can see here, that appear around the month of May and last into the summer. Like many plants in the bean family, mimosa has bipinnately compound leaves, which you can see here. So this is one leaf starting where it comes out of the branch, right where my finger is. So starting here and going down is one bipinnately compound leaf. You can see that it has a central axis, and then secondary axes split off, and that's where the leaflets come off of. So one leaf, as you can see, has tons of different leaflets. The flowers are followed by long beans which appear around the month of June in my area. You can see what they look like here. Originally from Asia, mimosa grows all around the world on every continent except Antarctica. It's a common sight along roads and highways in the southeast where it's considered somewhat invasive, and it's really easily recognized at a distance by its pink flowers. It grows throughout the whole eastern U.S. as far north as Boston, Massachusetts, and is also commonly planted along the west coast in California, Oregon, and Washington as an ornamental tree. Mimosa bark first appeared in the medical record almost 2,000 years ago in an old Chinese medical text called Shen-Nao Bingkao Jing. It was reported that mimosa bark would harmonize the heart and the will and make one happy and worry-free. There's been quite a bit of research surrounding this plant, and it's important clinically in multiple different countries. In China, it's very important in traditional Chinese medicine to treat stress, anxiety, and depression, and in Taiwan, it's the #1 herb that's used clinically to treat insomnia. So medicinally, you could say that mimosa bark has numerous different actions, including that of an adaptogen, a plant that helps reduce stress, helps the body cope with stress, an anxiolytic, which is an anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and it's also a nervine and neuroprotective herb, which means that in some aspects it helps restore and protect the brain and central nervous system. Both the flowers and the bark of mimosa can be used, but they're reported to exhibit slightly different effects. I'm still new to this plant, so I've just used the bark and have yet to try the flowers, but some authors report, for example, Easley and Horn in their medical dispensatory, they report that the bark is slightly uplifting and more grounding, whereas the flowers have a more immediate uplifting effect that's almost euphoric, and it's sort of like a feel-good effect right away. They say it just makes you want to go out in nature and take a walk. Corey Pine Shane, author of Southeast Medicinal Plants and owner of Pine's Herbals, says that the flowers have a more immediate effect, but the bark has a more deep and profound effect when used, over a period of time. So it's really amazing that this plant has not been used more for things like stress, anxiety, and depression. Corey Pine Shane also says that it's a great plant when working with PTSD. So a really, really wonderful and strong plant. I can feel the effects of this plant when I take it almost immediately. After taking it for just a day, I think I can feel a mood boost. So it's a really good mood booster just to help you just have a better outlook on life, a better mood, and just feel kind of more joy throughout your day. So next, let's look at how to prepare this plant into a medicine. Okay, so here I have some dried mimosa bark that I harvested the other day, and I'm going to show you how I prepare it into a medicine and the dosage that I personally use. Now we're going to look at the bark. The flowers, I would imagine, are prepared and dosed pretty much the same way. The thing about mimosa is that it's a very safe plant. There are little or no known side effects, and the main contraindication is that you shouldn't take mimosa if you're pregnant or nursing. It's also considered a plant that is safe for long-term use. So if you play with the dosage a little bit and you dose, you can start small if you want to and move your way up. But for the most part, I'm not too worried about someone taking too much mimosa. You obviously don't want to take, crazy doses, but let me show you how I do it. So we're going to make a standard decoction first. And a decoction is basically a tea. And then we're also going to look at a tincture, which is an alcohol extract. So if you just want to use water, then what you'll do is you'll crush up your mimosa bark like I'm doing here. And you're going to make a ratio of 1 teaspoon of bark to 1 cup of water. And then we're going to make a decoction. A decoction is simply when you boil a plant. So it's just a tea. And we have to boil it for about 15 minutes. Anytime we're making a tea with roots or with bark, you have to boil it for a while to extract those chemicals out of the plant. Of course, with flowers, you don't have to boil it for 15 minutes. You can use them fresh and just boil it, like bring it to a boil and then let them steep, or you can dry them and then just pour boiling water over them. So what we're going to do is fill up a teaspoon here. So a rough teaspoon. And then I have a measuring cup, 1 cup of water. I actually have some tea right here that I've already made using that ratio. And the dosage, once you make the tea, will be about 1/2 cup or 1/4 cup. You may even want to start with 1/4 cup because that may be enough to do the job. So there we have 1/4 cup. And you may move up to 1/2 cup per dosage. And you would do that 3 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day for the tea. So again, pretty safe plant. Now let's talk about the tincture. For the tincture, you're going to make a 1 to 2 tincture, and I did a fresh bark tincture. When I'm using fresh bark, I always use 95% alcohol or 190 proof, which is Everclear. And you can see the amount of alcohol to bark. The ratio, you're just basically going to press that bark down in there and then fill it up all the way to cover the bark. You can see there's actually a little bit sticking out, so I go in there occasionally and I'll press it down. This alcohol tincture will sit for 2 to 4 weeks and then it'll be ready. The dosage that I'll use with this is going to be 30 drops 3 times a day. So I'll take a dropper full. 30 drops is about your average dropper full. So I might take that and I'll add it to some water because that Everclear is pretty strong. So you don't want to do it straight or it'll burn your mouth. And I'll add it to a little cup of water and I'll do that 3 times a day. Lastly, I consider Sweet Bay Magnolia a great plant to mix with mimosa for a daily nerve tonic, mood booster, and stress reliever. You can see here in this tincture, I've mixed 50-50 Sweet Bay and Mimosa. Sweet Bay is a native southern tree that has some similar uses as Mimosa. So if you want to learn more about that tree, make sure to check it out in the video that you can see right here. And if you want to learn more about medicinal plants of the Southeast, make sure you check out my guide in the link in the description below this video. Again, my name is Matthew Hunter. Hope you have a great day.